Hello, this is a short introduction to the Gcat4 cable locator. Okay, so Gcat4, obviously top of the range in regards to the Cat4 range of locators. G is standing for GPS, so this particular model has the functionality to have GPS tracking on it. So if the user uses this model obviously in the street, then the line manager can then log into a portal online and look at a live view of where this user's been using on a particular road, using the GPS off this actual unit there. So it's good for traceability of the job and what sort of modes the user's been using at the same time as well. All right, so that's a GPS function on that. All right. Then we've got Cat for cable avoidance tool, 4th generation, all right, and then our plus means this particular model's got depth estimation on it as well, all right, okay. Just to go through a few things on here, so we've got our battery compartment here. If I pop that open like that, you can see obviously we've got our 2 big batteries there. We've also got our download point there to be able to put the download cable in to then connect up to a PC to be used with Cat Manager, and obviously manually downloading any information or any reports on any strikes that you could possibly do. Alright, so that's that bit there. Okay, this particular model has strike alert as well. Alright, and what strike alert basically means is if you're trying to locate cables and you come directly above that cable, you'll get a star asterisk on the screen that warns you that you're directly above it, and also an audible sound that's really loud that comes on to warn you that you are directly above that cable, and obviously you need to be wary of that. Okay. This particular model also has cal safe in it as well, which basically means this unit, as long as it's calibrated, will be fine. You'll get a countdown when you're getting close to the end of that calibration, and then once it expires, if the user continues to try to use it, it will actually switch off and not allow the user to use it. Alright, so that's a really good positive thing in regards to that. Alright. On this side of the actual Cat, you can see here we've got the full instructions on how to use it as well. So again, if the user's not familiar with this model, they can have a good read of that as well and familiarise themselves with it. Alright. So going back to these, obviously the normal general use of it, obviously on top of here we've got our speaker, which is obviously detachable, which is very useful obviously on really loud sites where you can't necessarily hear the noise, so that's a good thing for that. We've got our display screen on top, which will show us when we're using in a particular mode, what mode we're in, and you'll also see the bar graph going up and down telling you where obviously how strong the signal is being received. And we've also got a depth estimation button on there, obviously for units that have got depth estimation on them. Below that we've got our trigger, which is under there, so obviously that's how we would turn the instrument on. We've then below that got our 2 other controls. So this is our sensitivity control here. This is our grey term, which we would always turn on full when we're doing a scan to start with. So sensitivity control gets turned up all the way. Alright, we've then got 4 different modes. Alright, and we've got this yellow knob to turn to select whichever one we want to. Alright, so the first mode is flicked into power mode. Alright, so that's when we're trying to locate something that we know there's cable, or we know there's power running through it, so we need to locate that with that. So we switch it onto power mode, turn the unit on, and you can see on screen there it shows P for power, and then if we try and locate a cable or anything, it will then ultimately go off, as opposed to what sort of signal you get coming through. Alright. Once you've done your power mode, you would then switch it onto radio mode. Okay, so radio mode is there for any sort of cables in the ground that may not have a current running through them, but there may well be some form of telegraph signal coming over onto those cables, and that will then allow you to then locate it in that way. So you see that showing radio on there, and obviously then we'll be able to do another scan of the ground to find any other cables in the ground that haven't necessarily got power running through them, but they could possibly have radio waves jumping through them from a local transmitter, for example. Alright. The next mode we use is our Jenny mode. Alright, so this mode is only to be used when we're using a Jenny for to be able to apply a signal to a cable or a service that you're in the ground. You will only detect that Jenny signal when you switched into Jenny mode. Alright, so you always must make sure that's switched on Jenny mode, and depth estimation is only available in Jenny mode on the Gcat4. Alright. The last one we need to switch on to is what radio detection called cable avoidance mode, and this is a combination of power and radio in one. Alright, so as our normal process would be for HSG47, we would do a scan in power, we would then do a scan in radio. with this, it helps for us to be able to do both at the same time. All right, so it saves a bit of time in regards to that as well. Okay. Other than that, one other thing to say, these are calibrated every 12 months by the manufacturer or a suitable service workshop, and obviously, like I said before, these need to be used within that calibration date, otherwise you won't be able to use it after that. Okay, and that's pretty much it.